Hello everyone and welcome back guys to, I think, episode 10 of Jamie183 and my's The Unnamed Motorsport podcast. Jamie, can you believe we made it 10 episodes in? I don't think we were ever going to make it this far, do you?
No, not at all.
No, fair enough. That goes to show the hype for us this week. But yeah, this weekend, of course, is the French Grand Prix. Woo! I think we're all very, very hyped for that. We'll see how it goes. Actually, I say that. I predicted this was going to be an absolute banger of a French Grand Prix. So, when you tune in Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time, it is going to be a worldie of an event. But yeah, before that, though, obviously we had a break week this weekend. So, Jamie and I have decided, we're about a quarter of the way through the calendar now. We're going to go with our early 2022 driver predictions. Now, obviously, we've been sort of discussing it a little bit behind the scenes. We haven't told each other like our finalised list just yet, obviously, to sort of keep the suspense going for the video. But I think we're in a bit of an agreement. 2022 isn't probably going to see the biggest shake-up. I think 2023 is going to be the one we're all looking forward to. Would you agree?
Yeah, a lot of the seats are confirmed already. Like, you see teams getting earlier and earlier every year. So there's only
that can change though. Look at Perez last year.
Yeah, there's only about 8 seats I think that aren't already confirmed. So most of it is going to be drivers under contract, so we can rush through them.
Yeah. So obviously, let us know down in the comments below. Obviously, your thoughts and predictions as well. Ready for 2023? We might do another. 2022 even. Sorry, I should say. We might do another one down the line, sort of as we get towards the back end of the year. Obviously, when pretty much all the seats are confirmed for 2022, we might do a 2023 prediction as well. But yeah, of course, we'll be back next week as well for the French GP review. But Jamie, first team then. Who are you saying at Mercedes next year?
I think this is probably one of the biggest talking points, really. Like, the way that obviously Hamilton's going to be one of them. I'm fairly certain of that, regardless what happens this season. But the other one with Bottas, it's like, that's the big talking point. Is it him or Russell? We saw it flare up quite a lot in Imola earlier in the season when they crashed. And then I think they've known that this move was going to happen since Sakir last year, when Russell was easily as good, if not better, than Bottas. So that is what I've gone for. I've gone for Hamilton and Russell, which would be a pretty good lineup, I think. And
My guy. I have also gone Hamilton Russell.
It's not Hamilton, it'll teach Russell a lot, sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, if Russell comes in and starts teaching Hamilton, I mean, you'll probably learn some things from him. That's fair enough, like how Google Maps works. Never forget Lewis Hamilton discovering Google Earth as well.
Oh, yeah.
That was always iconic. But yeah, I think there's rumours going around. I think it was Sky Sports Italy were sort of the first ones to come out with it, weren't they? Saying that Hamilton-Russell could be confirmed at the British Grand Prix. That is a lineup I would love to see. It would be brilliant to see ready for next year. And I saw a couple of other interesting stats actually about it. Hamilton and Bottas now have pretty much, by the end of the year, will have pretty much done exactly the same amount of Grand Prix as Schumacher and Barrichello did at Ferrari. I think it's ran its course at this point. It always seems crazy because you sort of think that Schumacher-Barrichello era seemed to last forever. But Bottas and Hamilton pretty much have done the same now. Is kind of mad in my eyes anyway.
Yeah, and Bottas only came in halfway through the hybrid era. So Mercedes dominance has been way longer than Ferrari dominance was.
Exactly, yeah. It's kind of insane, isn't it, when you think about it as well? I mean, you look at other sort of long-standing sort of teammate relationships. Obviously, you've got the likes of, Webber-Vettel is always quite a long-standing one that obviously had some contention early on, nothing to the same sort of level as Ferrari did in terms of obviously very, very different driver combination. But yeah, it sort of makes you realise sort of that 2 to 3 years is quite common. Anything longer than that is really rare.
4 years is a super long time.
I mean, it's going to be 5, isn't it, technically?
So, yeah.
Which is, kind of insane when you think about it as well there. But yeah, so we're both going Hamilton-Russell at Mercedes next year. Let's get into the second one then. Red Bull, who are you saying?
I'm going to stick with how it is at the minute. Verstappen, Perez.
Yeah.
Obviously, Max has got a contract until his death. So he'll be there forever.
Yeah.
And Perez has been solid enough. Definitely the best of any of Verstappen's teammates since Ricciardo so far. So pretty sure he's done enough already to keep it. Obviously, he won in Baku last time out. His race pace has been really good. So if he can keep that up and actually work on his quali pace a bit, try and get a bit closer to the front, then he'll be good. And I'm pretty sure they'll retain him.
Yes, yeah. And that, I also had Verstappen Perez. I really, really ummed and ahed whether they put Gasly in. For 2 reasons I don't believe they will. Perez is A, doing a better job anyway, and B, I don't think Helmut Marko is going to admit that he probably should have kept Gasly on a bit better, because, I mean, Gasly is absolutely slapping it up at AlphaTauri at the moment. Still,
you're bringing all the propaganda this week.
I'm bringing a fair bit of Gasly propaganda. I do honestly believe for Gasly though, there's going to be talks come the end of the year going, if I'm not in a Red Bull for 2023, I'm out. I mean, Alpine are knocking on the door. Let's be fair,
he's French. He's much better than Ocon.
He is French, Jamie. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
but
I think people spend time in Toro Rosso / AlphaTauri until you're like 25, 26, and then you leave. So it is a junior team at the end of the day. So he's got to get his way out eventually. And
exactly. And it's sort of, I think it's arguably one of the first times we've sort of seen as well from AlphaTauri that a driver doesn't want to go to Red Bull. They seem to be doing better in the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're probably going to lose him soon enough. And we've seen that with Red Bull before, where they've lost a couple of really good drivers. I mean, we've seen it more with the Mercedes driver academy, to be honest. And I think unless Mercedes put Russell in for next year, he could be on the move as well. But yeah, this is sort of where like the driver academy stuff always gets a bit complicated as well, doesn't it? Of Gasly is such a talent, but whether he's got the same driving style as Verstappen completely dictates what Red Bull do with him.
Yeah, I don't see them, like when I was making this list, even though I'm a Gasly fan, I had I was never close to putting Gasly back in Red Bull. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Like, they're way too stubborn for that at Red Bull. So
need to swallow a bit of pride down at Milton Keynes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on then. Team number 3. We're going with Ferrari for this one.
Ferrari, I think, but they've already confirmed both their drivers.
Exactly. It's going to be Sainz and Leclerc. They're both doing a good enough job, I think, as well. It's completely justified that we keep both those guys in ready for next year. Next up then, McLaren, Ricardo Norris. I'm pretty certain they're both confirmed. There's no surprise there. Alpine, who have you gone with Alpine then?
Alpine. Alonso is under contract.
Yep.
So he's one of the drivers. He's actually done pretty well this season so far, despite being
don't put him under the Vettel umbrella of he's had 1 or 2 good races and suddenly he's great.
You just hate Alonso, that's the thing.
No, I mean, fair play to him. Baku, he did well. Got lucky with the strategy, but did well, nonetheless. But apart from that, Monaco, he went out in Q1. He's been...
Yeah.
Apart from Portimao, where Alpine seemed really good sort of out of nowhere, he hasn't been that impressive in my eyes, and that's not even the fact I don't like him. Ocon's been quicker, generally.
Ocon has been quicker, generally, which is fair enough to him. I actually can't remember where I put Ocon.
And who you got with Alonso then, sorry?
I need to fix his list.
Have you messed up your list? Well, I'll talk over them whilst you quickly change your list around. I've gone with Alonso and Ocon. Like we said, obviously, Alonso even is under contract ready for next year. Ocon is doing better than him still at the moment. I think Alpine don't want to lose him, partly because he's French, partly because he still can show some pretty good talent a lot of the time as well. So I think, Ocon is probably in Alpine for the long term. I can see him, like we said, obviously being there with Gasly down the line as well, and that being quite a good little sort of French core unit, whatever you want to call it, with them as well there. Jamie, have you decided who Alonso is being teamed up with?
I've absolutely stiffed Ocon in this list. But
you've got rid of Ocon. Have you scrapped him from F1?
We've gone Alonso, and surprisingly I've gone with Guan Yu Zhou.
Oh my dearie me.
He's winning the F2 championship. If he
For
gets top
how
3,
long?
If he gets top 3 and gets super license points, he will be in that Renault next season.
Will he really?
The Alpine next season.
They're going to look at Esteban Ocon, who did really well at Mana, really well at Racing Point, ex-Mercedes Junior, and they're going to go, no, we're going to pick a guy that can't do on-track overtakes.
Wow.
Am I wrong?
I think they have an academy for a reason. Their academy is really good. Like, it's stacked in F2. Like,
they have an academy so the F2 cars look good. That's about it. That's all the benefit I can see.
Yeah, that's pretty much. They've got to actually use their academy at some point, and I believe that if Guan Yu Zhou can win the championship or get top 3, certainly if he wins it, he will be.
I love the fact you're saying or get top 3 because you're so
top 3 for the super
license
points. He is he was like 40 points ahead at one point, and now it's like 6.
Yeah, but because he got lucky in the first 2 weekends.
Nah, he just likes proper racetracks. So when they're at Silverstone, he's going to smash it.
He's going to win all 3 Grand Prix, is he?
At least 2 of them. Yeah.
At least 2 of them. Right, okay, fair enough. Moving on then. Team number 6, Aston Martin.
Yeah. the most unpredictable team out there when Vettel's got a contract and Stroll's dad owns the team.
Yeah. So that's all sorted.
So that one's pretty set. Yeah.
Fair enough. The last few though. AlphaTauri next up.
AlphaTauri, I've gone same.
Yeah.
Tsunoda Gasly seems fairly certain. Like
yep.
Tsunoda's picked it up. Arguably, has he picked it up? I don't know.
You've done it again. You've picked up on the last Grand Prix and built up the hype.
He was okay at Baku.
He did well at Baku.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
He
but apart from
wasn't
that,
as good as Gasly. I think the car was a bit good, but
yeah, but it's good down the top end, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. I think he'll improve over the season. Obviously, it's like his 6th race he's had.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he's still like he's a day older than me, so he's young.
Middle-aged.
So middle-aged, yeah.
Actually, I can't say that. I'm older than you.
Yeah, you're like 3 months older than me.
Fair enough.
So yeah.
No, I think
Tsunoda Gasly.
I think it's Gasly. I mean, they could both only be there for sort of like another year. Well, like we said, Tsunoda hasn't really had sort of that major impact yet, and I'm sort of worried. Like Perez might move on. Like
crash.
No, I'm more worried that what's going to happen to Tsunoda is the same that we've seen with the likes of Gasly and Albon. Perez is going to leave at some point. Tsunoda's going to get the call up and then just not deliver at Red Bull and be racing in GT3 cars or whatever that Albon's doing now, which is going to see because Albon is criminally underrated, I think.
Albon's easily good enough for F1.
Yeah.
He's just not good enough to be Max Verstappen's teammate.
No, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so difficult, isn't it? I mean, again, when we get some break weeks, we'll have to talk about the Red Bull Driver Academy as
yeah,
well.
That's another thing. There's no one really waiting in the wings at the minute in F2. So
you've got a couple of... I think
Lawson
most of them, probably
good.
need another year in F2, don't they, really? Jay Anderuva's done all right. Liam Lawson's done quite well. Trying to think, who's the third?
Yuri Vips.
Yuri Vips as well. Who seems... He looks like
good.
the likely one. If Gasly went next year to Alpine or whoever, I'd say Yuri Vips so far looks like the one that would get the call up.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, that's fair enough then. So, next up then, Alfa Romeo. Who are we going with?
I've actually... Big up Kimi Räikkönen. Is like 400th year in F1. He's going to stay.
You've put Räikkönen in again.
Yes. And the other one, I've gone for Callum Ilott, who's a tested reserve driver this year.
Right.
Giovinazzi's about 45, so
yep,
he's on his way out.
You've gone Giovinazzi out, have you? Fair enough. I then, to change it up a little bit, have gone Giovinazzi and Schumacher.
That's interesting. I could see Schumacher there. The problem is, which I've tried to explain to you before, but you're clearly too ignorant to take notice.
No, I know exactly what you're trying to say, and I'm going to counter you in just a second.
The Alfa Romeo team has
one seat, one for them,
Ferrari.
One for Ferrari. Yes.
So Giovinazzi is currently the Ferrari placeholder.
Yes.
And Raikkonen is the Sauber driver.
And I completely understand what you're saying. However...
So how are they going to end up with two? I mean, I suppose Giovinazzi could move to the Sauber seat because they like him.
I do genuinely believe that's what's going to happen. I believe Giovinazzi is going to be given a year along... So Raikkonen's going to call it... Right, I'm going to give you the whole timeline, Jamie. Raikkonen, he's going to sit down with Fred Vasseur towards the end of the year and go, look, if you want to stay on another year, that's fine. We're bringing Schumacher in, he's getting one of the seats. If you want to stay another year and teach him, go for it. If, on the other hand, you don't, we're going to put Giovinazzi in your seat next year and he can teach Mick everything he needs to know. Raikkonen's going to go, well, I battled his dad a lot on the track, and no, I'm calling it quits. Basically, exactly like I've just said. They're not going to give him as many ice creams as he wanted in his contract for next year. I think is going to be the big issue for Kimi. So yeah, that's how I see that going down.
Yeah, the thing is, I think if Raikkonen is given the chance to work with Mick Schumacher, I think he'll probably take it.
Really?
So,
I can see Raikkonen not really caring. He goes, Schumacher, I recognise that name from somewhere. Can't think where though.
Yeah,
was he a guy I used to go to the pub with?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Giovinazzi is like pretty one of the worst drivers on the grid. He's
yes, I completely agree.
And Kimi's still got a bit more to give, I think. We've been saying this for about 6 years now.
Kimi's got nothing left to give, man, honestly. Apart from some funny interviews and far too many, what's the word? Nordic countries to love him for some reason, and then social introverts as well. Not just the Finns. The
we
Swedes.
love Kimi. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's all right, I suppose. Bless him.
And also, you were saying in the meeting with the Alfa Romeo boss,
Fred Vasseur,
we're bringing Schumacher in.
Oh, sorry, Michael Schumacher.
Michael Schumacher.
Yeah, exactly. So, before this completely derails itself, it certainly is. It's a great reference, though. To anyone that gets that, I'm very, very proud. Moving on, then. Team number 9, we're going to Williams. Jamie, who are you saying?
Oh.
Yeah, have you forgot Williams exist?
No, I have remembered. I expected Haas first because that's what I've got on my list.
Oh, fair enough.
I was going off the Constructors' Championship, but
Oh, yeah, Haas overtook him, didn't they?
Yeah.
What eggery.
Williams, Latifi has a contract.
Yep.
Unfortunately, so he'll be sticking around. And I've actually panicked and gone for Esteban Ocon because I realised I dropped him from F1 by accident. So he's now chilling at Williams. I believe he's still a Mercedes driver.
No, he is not.
There were rumours earlier in the season of Mercedes looking at him
Mercedes were looking at him again, yeah, but he's not a Mercedes driver anymore.
Well, he'll be kicked out for the much better Guan Yu Zhou at Alpine, so he's going to end up looking for a seat and end up at Williams.
Right.
So there we go.
Right, fair enough. So you're going Latifi and Ocon.
That's a bit of a panicked one because I realised that Ocon got dropped from F1.
I was going to say...
if it happens, I'll claim it.
I've gone Latifi and Bottas.
Right. I don't see Bottas.
You genuinely believe Bottas is going to go from Mercedes to nowhere at all?
But why would you stay? If you've been driving the fastest car for 5 years, why would you go and drive for Williams again?
Well, did you say that about a lot of drivers, though? You could look through history. Not many drivers really leave at the top still. Normally they're still at a good team. Yeah, but he came back, didn't he?
Yeah, but the first time round he left at the top.
Yeah, but the first time round doesn't count if he came back.
You've got Mansell, he left at the top. Prost left at the top.
Did Mansell leave at the top? I thought he couldn't fit into a McLaren after he left. Although Mansell left F1 like 8 times, didn't he?
Mansell won his last full season, didn't he?
Did he?
I think so.
Let me Google that.
Do some research.
Yeah. I thought he did 1 year at McLaren afterwards and it was a disaster. So he won at Williams. Right, here we go. Let's have a look. So he drove for Williams in 1992. Obviously won the world title, if I remember correctly. Yep. He then rejoined Williams in 1994 during kart. Then obviously went to McLaren for 1995. He couldn't fit in the car to begin with. Which is,
I remember that.
Yep.
Was that the one when he booked plane tickets early?
No, that was Ferrari back in 1989 because they brought the new semi-automatic gearbox and it just didn't work, and then suddenly survived the Grand Prix. Yeah,
that it was going to break down.
Yeah.
Well, should we move on from Nigel Mansell?
Mansell, he chose to retire with 2 races after just 2 races with the team. So technically, he won his last full season. But when you keep rage quitting after that, it's kind of not the same, is it?
Mika Hakkinen, he left at the top. I'm just disproving your point over and over.
Yeah, but he didn't because he didn't win. If you listen to me, I said a lot of drivers will stay at a good team, and then when they've lost a world title, then they'll leave.
Well, Bottas never had one to begin with.
Yeah, but I just don't see him quitting fully because Bottas still deep down believes he's going to be world champion.
Well, he's had plenty of chances.
Williams will have him back for a year.
Do you think he's got more chance at Williams or Mercedes?
No, I believe he doesn't have a chance anywhere.
That's true.
It's as simple as that.
Right. Oh, well, I don't like Bottas at all. He's terrible.
No, you don't. I'm not a particularly big fan of him.
He's not exactly young. I think he's like 33.
He's not young. Oh, I think he's 31, isn't he? Let me have a look. Get away from Nigel Mansell. He is 31.
Wow, he's a bit younger than I thought, actually. Fair enough.
Yeah, he's not been in F1 that long. When you think about
retired at 31, so...
Yeah, but
he actually went out on top.
Rosberg was a chicken. Anyway, this is completely gone off the rails, hasn't it? Final team then, Jamie. Anyway. Let's try and bring it back a bit. Haas. Who are you going with? Nikita Mazepin and Mick Schumacher?
Yes.
Fair
because
enough.
Schumacher, I haven't moved to Alfa Romeo, so he's got to be here.
Exactly. I've gone with Mazepin and Schwartzman. They're going to go full motherland love down at Haas. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or not? No, you can't say Russia in Formula 1.
What is it? The Russian Association Federation or something?
Of the world or something, isn't it? Yeah. I've gone with that. I think Ferrari Driver Academy, they're going to want their engines still, of course. I mean, let's be fair, Haas's days, I think both of us are sort of, in conclusion, are potentially numbered unless they get bought out by someone. I can see Nikita Mazepin's dad just buying out the team, to be honest, as well.
But Mazepin Racing or something.
Mazepin Racing, yeah. That would be not fun for Formula 1. But yeah, no, so I've gone with Schwartzman and Mazepin there. I can see Mazepin's dad going, ooh, Russia, I like that. I have money there. And going, I'll get another driver in and basically make the car completely Russian flags. As well, despite it pretty much already being a Russian flag at this stage of the team's life. But there we go then. That is Jamie and I's F1 2022 driver transfer predictions. It went off the rails, rather unsurprisingly. I feel like we say it at the end of every podcast at the moment, don't we?
How many changes have you actually got out of interest?
So I've got Schwartzman to Haas, Bottas to Williams, Schumacher to Alfa Romeo, and then Russell to Mercedes.
And who's got dropped from F1 if Schwartzman come in?
Raikkonen.
Giovinazzi. Oh, Raikkonen, yes.
Yeah.
So the only one I've dropped...
Bottas.
Who I dropped? Bottas and someone else. And
Giovinazzi. Oh, no, Giovinazzi.
Yeah.
God.
If it's not been that mental, I've seen worse predictions than this, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
We've not gone like Hamilton to Renault, and
has someone genuinely put that on YouTube?
I haven't seen it, but I'd imagine so.
Fair enough. But yeah, let us know, like we said, down in the comments below. Obviously, your predictions for 2022. Like we said, as the season starts to wind down, pretty much everything's sort of 2022. We might do one for 2023 as well. There's like a very, very early predictions for next year. But of course, we will be back next Tuesday after the French Grand Prix, obviously for the GP review as well. But thank you all. Jamie, anything to add quickly before we wrap up?
It's coming home.
It is coming. I was going to say that as well. It's coming home. Oh, that sums this podcast up today. Raikkonen's out. Bottas is going home. Football's coming back as well. You love to see it. We'll be back next week ready for the French GP review.